Hey guys, Normox here, and today I'm here to introduce you Autobot Steel Shift. This is one of the first triple changers I've made in a very long time. So Autobot Steel Shift here transforms into a Tachyon Speed inspired alt mode. Originally I wanted it to be, well, a Tachyon Speed, but unfortunately due to the transformation and such, I had to kind of sacrifice some details for the car mode to benefit the jet mode. So honestly, I'm fine with that. I mean, he still looks great. I mean, he still looks like a supercar. So you can see in the front the headlights. You can see the grille right there. The hood section, the cockpit. You can kind of see the head there a little bit. Yeah, he has a little bit of visible head syndrome, but I think it's all right. I mean, it's hidden fairly well. You can see, the the blue stripe there, the white rims. Top is pretty clean. The back section has headlights, and it also has exhaust pipes here. Has a little bit of a license plate here, also, and a spoiler. I really love the way the spoiler transforms, and I'll get into that in just a sec. But yeah, overall, he's a pretty cool and clean car mode. I mean, unfortunately, due to the triple changing, basically the fact that he's a triple changer, the wheels in the back kind of sit a lot lower than the wheels in the front. But honestly, in most angles, it doesn't look that bad. Here's the underneath the car. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I think it's all right. I think it cleans up fairly well. I mean, I'm just glad I was able to get a triple changing transformer that has a very clean car mode. This is what I really wanted to focus on when it came to how clean I wanted it to be, because even though he has a few gaps here and there, but overall I think it's a fairly clean car mode. So yeah. So for comparison, here he is with Crossroads. You can see Crossroads scales pretty well with him. So yeah. Another comparison, here he is with Rev, one of the other LEGO Transformers that I've made. And you can see, he's about the same height as Rev, but obviously he's much wider, which makes sense because supercars are normally much wider than traditional cars because they need the downforce. The one thing I'm a little disappointed at myself by is the size of him in car mode. I wish he was just a little bit shorter. Maybe if he was down to Rev's headlight, I would appreciate it more, but I don't think they look bad together. I don't think the scale looks terrible, but it is something to note, But I think they look good together. And finally, here he is with a minifigure. Obviously, very out of scale, but my Transformers are usually out of scale anyway. With minifigures, they're just a tad bit over minifigure scale, but, I think it looks good. For anyone wondering if a minifigure can fit inside, it can't because of all the junk that's inside the cockpit section. You could remove these panels if you want, if you really want to get a minifigure in there, but I'm just not going to do that. But yeah. And finally, here he is with Revenge of the Fallen Deaden. Deaden is obviously much shorter. I wish he was kind of at this scale, but unfortunately, due to wanting to both have the correct scale of the jet mode, I had to make some sacrifices with how big the car mode can be. So that's pretty much it. I guess we should go over a little bit of who this character is. So Steel Shift was originally a Decepticon, but he decided to essentially join the Autobots out of fear of being killed by Coulter, the leader of the Decepticons in my universe. And essentially his personality is very thug-like, very gangster, he's supposed to be like a caricature of like toxic masculinity, essentially. So he's all about, all about like how muscular he is and stuff, how he's the strongest, he wants to be Prime. He always criticizes Linux Prime, and believes, he's the only one worthy of being a Prime and such. And also, he's obsessed with anything shiny. So he's like, he has a very gangster, like New Jersey-esque persona, or I guess accent. But yeah, he's very much inspired by the TOK Decepticons with their gangster-like personality. But yeah, and I also like to believe that he has very expensive tastes, so his vehicle mode should reflect that, which, I've already said before, this is a Tachyon Speed inspired alt mode, very expensive car. And his second alt mode is a Cobalt Valkyrie, which is a fairly expensive private jet. It's more of a concept, but there is an actual like physical jet of it, so I'm counting that as such. So I like to assume he landed in some billionaire's, I don't know, mansion or something and scanned the alt modes there. And I love that kind of reflection towards his character. But yeah, that's essentially it. I guess we should go over towards the transformation now. So now let's get down to the transformation. So to transform Steel Shift, what we're going to want to do is, we'll start with the back. So what we're basically going to want to do is just take these sections and just pull them out like that. Flip this section like this. Do the same thing on the other side. And also bring this section down. This will become the propeller of the jet mode. Do the same thing like that. And just flip these out. And kind of leave that like that for now. So now things are going to get a little crazy. So pretty much what you're going to want to do is open up the canopy section, bring this entire section up. Oh, make sure that's kind of opened up. Let me raise the camera a little bit to show you. You just take these sections, kind of leave them like that for now. Flip that all the way back. Now just make sure you press onto here so that this doesn't come out. You just want to move these entire sections. These will become the wings of the jet mode. So next, what you're going to want to do with these is just orient them like this, and that becomes one of the wings of the jet mode. So to show you over here, I'll kind of show you what happens. Oh, there goes a piece. The first of many. But I'll try to show you as best as I can how this kind of works. So pretty much, you see there's a hinge here, and it's connected by stud friction on the ends, and that basically allows it to orient itself like this into the proper configuration. I think it's a pretty clever setup. So I'm very proud of that. Next, what you're going to want to do, give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. So next, what you're going to want to do is take these sections, kind of rotate these panels like so, focus, and flip them out. Like that. You do the same thing for these. So what you're going to want to do, let's just turn this around. Take these sections, kind of just bring the rod out like so, and just flip these sections down. Next, what you're going to want to do, this gets pretty crazy. but pretty much what you're going to want to do next is, here, let me show you. So what you're going to want to do for the front is take the sides and kind of pull them out like so. They're basically on a rod, and so that there's enough clearance for this to poke out like so without that breaking off. And you pretty much just flip this out, rotate this section, and leave that right like that. So you do the same thing on the other side. You just pull this out, kind of give it enough clearance to move out of the way. Yeah, let's try to do it in a better. I completely forgot this. This is a thing. You can pull this section out, and then you have the clearance to move this section like so. You see? And this is connected by kind of the Among Us clips there on stud friction, so that allows these sections to move in this orientation. And this will pretty much form the cockpit. So you kind of want to have it orient like this and kind of have these sections close in. They don't really tab in, which is fine considering how tight the clearance is for the car mode. So that's basically the cockpit. And next thing you want to do is come up here. You want to take this section, first, what you want to do is, here, let's see if I can show this. You want to take these chains, untab them, like so, and then you want to kind of rotate them like this, kind of have it adjusted like that so that they're straight. And then once we get to the front end, you're going to want to tab the chains into the studs right here. And what that basically allows is sort of a way for this section to kind of stay afloat for the jet mode. It's not a perfect, way to keep them afloat. I mean, they will sag. It will still sag, but it definitely won't do as much of it. So, it is what it is. So next, what we're gonna want to do is pretty much take these wing sections, rotate them up like this, and you're going to want to rotate on this jumper plate here. I'll make sure these aren't in the way, and rotate this entire assembly like so. Okay, so for this part of the transformation, what you're going to want to do is essentially have the wheels in kind of this orientation and kind of slot them in like so, and kind of make sure there's clearance for the wheel by kind of adjusting this section down. And pretty much that is going to allow, if this can stop untabbing, that is going to allow clearance for the tire to kind of sit like so. So there you go. That's kind of what I'm talking about. So you do the same thing on the other side. You just rotate this section, kind of bring it in all the way. And they're not supposed to line up perfectly, but they're not supposed to touch each other. But that's pretty much how I was able to kind of get them to where I need them to be. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then you just kind of rotate these sections downward, and there you go. Don't worry, this will look much more like a jet soon. So next, as I plug this back in, next what you're going to want to do is take this entire assembly, bring it forward a little bit, and And if you can see, there's these bricks here that are on Among Us clips. And pretty much what you're going to want to do is just take that section down, rotate it like so, and essentially what that is going to do is flip towards the front end to help fill out. Wow, I didn't even get that on camera. But that's pretty much what you're going to want to do to kind of get it in front, on the front there. So just rotate these sections back. As for this side, let me just move this out of the way. You're going to want to bring this down, rotate all of this all the way towards the front. And that's pretty much how you do it. Well, there you go. So next, just kind of take these sections, kind of just leave them back there for now. That will become the back of the alt mode. So next, just adjust this section accordingly. And then what you're going to want to do is take this section, just rotate it like so. Make sure the studs are facing outward and the anti-studs are facing inward of this dark gray mixel joint. And make sure nothing falls off as I knock down another thing. All right. Yeah, this transformation has a lot of fragile connections and such, but it's necessary for what it has to do. Considering how much this guy changes shape, I don't mind it all that much. But, okay. So what you're going to want to do is take these sections, bring this entire assembly forward like so. You're going to want to kind of tuck these wings underneath the rods here. And that's where they're going to sit for the jet mode. Do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of take this section and tuck it in there. Make sure everything's straightened out. And now, let me just set this thing down because he's getting heavy. So what you're going to want to do is take this section, straighten it out. Do the same thing on the other side. Bring these sections in like so. Bring this section down. Bring this slightly up to kind of give it the kind of lump that the jet has. And pretty much just do that. And kind of have the cockpit line up with the nose cone of the jet. And if adjusted correctly, it should look good. So the rest of the transformation is fairly easy now. So what we'll do is we'll go to the back end here. Lift this up for now. And what we're going to do is essentially make sure these are folded out like that. You're going to want to rotate these sections and bring them back like so. Next, what you're going to want to do is just hinge this section that's on a single stud like that, and make sure this is fully extended. And that's basically how the wheels are compressed in the back of the jet mode. So you do the same thing on the other side. Let me just put this tile back on and I'll show you. So just do the same thing here. Fully extended so that they touch each other. And that's pretty much how you have the wheels compressed. Next, what you're going to want to do, if I can raise the camera, is just take this propeller section, bring this all the way back, and now we'll just set it down for a sec to make this a little bit easier for me. So, well, I forgot to show you this, but What you're going to want to do is just take your fingers and kind of pinch this area. This will extend the propeller so that there's enough clearance. Focus. There's enough clearance for it. So next what you're going to want to do is take these sections, bring this down, rotate this entire assembly. Make sure the tile's out of the way before you do this. So you're going to want to rotate this entire assembly here. Bring this up. And if I can show you here, you want to rotate this section like so. And then rotate this down, rotate this up. You want to kind of have this touch this section and then bring this tile like so. So you do the same thing on the other side. If I can rotate this properly. So you just take this section, you bring it down, you just bring this tile like that so that there's clearance. Bring this up, rotate this section, kind of bring this section like this, have it kind of touch the body, bring that tile down, and that's pretty much the jet mode. All done. So here's SteelShift in his jet mode, and I absolutely love this jet mode. Yes, it definitely isn't as clean as the car mode, but I think it definitely accomplishes what it's supposed to be, which is at least a Cobalt Valkyrie inspired jet mode. It is not exactly 100% accurate to a Cobalt Valkyrie. It's actually missing a lot of details from that particular plane. Like, for example, there's supposed to be actually two fins that poke out from the canopy section, but I wasn't able to get those details in just simply because of how much the car compresses everything. And so I couldn't really do that, unfortunately. Even though I really wanted to, I unfortunately couldn't do that. But at least I got most of the essential details in. You know, I got the big cockpit there, the wings, very large wings there. I love how the spoiler becomes the back kind of wing sections. I'm not exactly sure what to call them, and it even has the propeller. It spins just fine. Overall, I'm very happy with this jet mode. Even though it looks a lot messier than the car mode, but I do still like how it's able to. It's definitely, I'd say, a lot cleaner than it's the best I can do, essentially. But yeah, let's look at the silhouette. I think the silhouette of the jet looks great. He has a little bit of undercarriage, but I don't mind, and you can clearly see the back wheels. But again, I don't really mind that because I actually, I don't mind it because it isn't as noticeable, and I got the front section of the wheels to be very well hidden, so I don't really mind if the back section is a little bit, obvious. But some of the details I really like that I kind of used from the car mode is the grill section acting as the intake for the jet mode. I love that kind of that still kind of continues with this mode. I really love how the sides of the car mode become the cockpit section. I think that's really clever, and that saves a lot of faux parts. Again, like I mentioned, the spoiler being the back of the wings, very nice. The wings becoming essentially the top sections of the car mode. Very nice details. And you can see it. You can still see some of the car details, like the intakes there. You can see the headlights, the brake lights. But I actually like that. I mean, it kind of adds a little bit of realism to triple changers because, I always felt like, especially triple changers that change shape into something that looks completely different to what the other mode looked like. You know, the best way I can describe it is if you guys ever heard of the Amazing Spino, he makes these amazing redesigns of original or official Transformer characters, and he did a redesign of Sandstorm, and I absolutely love how the jet mode still has kind of the wheels underneath the wing sections. Like the wheels from the car mode are still shown on the jet mode, but like kind of like hidden in a way. But I love that because it just adds realism to the concept of triple changers. I just love that, and I think this guy kind of does that. I mean, it's obviously you can interpret it as either that or, oh, you should have done a better job hiding the car parts. But honestly, this is the best I can do with hiding car parts, and I honestly think this jet mode came out very well done. Like, it is amazing how I was able to get it this clean. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get down to size comparisons. So here he is with a minifigure. You can see he's definitely grown a couple inches in length and width, obviously. But, you know, I think that scale is all right. I feel like the cockpit should be a little bigger because Cobalt Valkyries are actually supposed to hold up to like 4 people. So, you know, some of the proportions are a little off, but considering, you know, it's a triple changer, I think it's fine. But anyway, here he is with Rev. And let's see if I can kind of show. You can see, you know, he has gotten a lot bigger in jet mode. And, you know, still about the same height, but obviously much wider now because of the wings. Lengthwise, let's see if I can show this properly. You know, he's probably like an inch longer now compared to Rev. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And let's show 2 more comparisons. So here he is with Crossroads. And again, I think that scale is pretty great, you know? And finally, here he is with Revenge of the Fallen Dead End. And you can see, you know, definitely gained some height. Well, honestly, it hasn't gained a lot of height, but it's definitely gained length and width. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can't really store a minifigure in the cockpit because the cockpit is actually hollow underneath. So you can't really do that. But like I said, I think it's okay, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, let's get down to robot mode. So what you're going to want to do is just basically de-transform the back end. But this time, just kind of, well, you're going to slightly de-transform it. And what you're going to want to do, these are going to form the legs. So you're going to want to rotate this section like that. Rotate this entire assembly. Bring this section up. Bring this to this side now. And then what you're going to want to do here, let me just show you real quick, is essentially flip this panel down like this. You're going to want to flip this back and then rotate this section, and that'll become one leg. So do the same thing on the other side. You just rotate this section, rotate this entire assembly, like so. Rotate this panel, like that. Flip this back, bring the spoiler down like that. And those are 2 legs, all done. Next, what you're going to want to do is, well, compress this back into place. And now we'll work on the front end. So then, what you're going to want to do is bring this section back up, bring these back. Let me just raise the camera Let's hope you see a little better. And then what you're going to want to do is just bring these sections like so, kind of in this orientation. We'll just leave it like that. Next, what you're going to want to do is untab the gold chains from the hood of the car. Move these wings out of the way. We're going to tab that back in. And then we're going to bring these sections up. Bring these back. It starts to get heavy. And so what we're going to do is kind of straighten the chains out. Like so. We are then going to, let's see how we can do this. Okay, so we're going to move the back wheels. If I could show you. I'm going to move those sections back so that this can just kind of extend a little bit further, like so. Get the wings out of the way, and well, let's actually bring the wings back to essentially the car mode position, and then we'll work on the torso. So, well, what you're going to want to do here is just rotate this crest section. That'll become the head, obviously. Then what you're going to want to do, bring this section down. This gets a little crazy. So you're going to want to rotate this assembly all the way back, well, without taking off that tile, but that's pretty much what you're going to want to do. So let's put that back, and essentially you're going to want to position it like so. Next, just kind of straighten this out. You're going to actually kind of have it like that, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So kind of give this clearance, focus, for this to extend, bring it back like so, rotate this assembly, and kind of orient it like this, and we'll just leave it like that for now. You flip up the head. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to rotate these sections kind of facing this way. Make sure this panel is folded upward. This will become kind of the collar section of the robot mode. And if we can bring this down a little bit, we're going to essentially compress the robot mode torso like so. Kind of make sure this kind of fits sort of like this, and there's a tab, if we can get the chains out of the way. There's two studs right here that are going to tab into this kind of gray hinge here, and that'll basically lock the torso, or at least the top of the torso, into place. Let's just get these chains out of the way first, if we can. Usually I like to set it upside down and let gravity fix it for me. So let me just do that real quick. There we go. Oh. Very complicated transformation. Alrighty. So let's just tab this section right here. There you go. That locks everything into place. Make sure you adjust everything accordingly and pretty much try to get the head to fit through there. And there you go. So next what you're going to want to do if I can show this, there's a lot to work with. You're basically going to want to press down on these sections. These will kind of compress in and kind of make the torso a little bit less wide. So pretty much what you're going to do with the chains is essentially plug them into the same area as they were for jet mode. So you just plug them into this front tile here, and then you just adjust it as basically just plug them into the same spot it was in jet mode. And there you have his gold chain all done. So next, what we're going to want to do is kind of, let's go to the back section actually. We're going to want to orient the wheels. So to do that, if I can adjust everything accordingly, basically just kind of grab this section and sort of compress it in like so. The stud will kind of move as you grab onto the mixel joint section. So you just do the same thing on the other side. Very lightly just do that. And then rotate it as such so that this wheel will kind of overlap the wheel over there. And do the same thing on the other side. And that is pretty much the upper torso all done. Next, what we're going to want to do is essentially collapse this section in. We're then going to want to bring this section down like so without untabbing these sections. I should have probably moved them out of the way before doing that. So let me just, I almost dropped that. Let me just do that. All right, so we'll just leave that off to the side. So just move the propeller piece up like this. You're then going to want to orient it like that. And this propeller piece should kind of slot right underneath this hood piece and basically complete the torso. So then what you're going to want to do is orient the legs, just kind of adjust them like so. You're then going to want to essentially place these kind of filler pieces back to where they were in car mode. So once I plug this in, just do this. Kind of have it in this orientation. So like I said, same thing as car mode. And there you have essentially the entire torso. So next what we're going to want to do is just take these sections, rotate them so that the studs face forward. We're then going to want to open this area and extend the wing section, and these will become the arms. Apologies for all the pieces falling. I'll fix the panels once we're done with this section. Pretty much, if I can raise the camera, pretty much you're just going to want to rotate this section, flip it out, extend, and just kind of orient that right into that slot there. And that's basically the arms all done. He's almost done. We're just going to have to work on the basically the kibble. We're just going to fold this up, rotate these sections. You're going to just want to fold up this entire canopy section and kind of have these panels kind of sit against it. They're easily the most fragile bits of the entire build, but they're essential for keeping the jet mode to be very clean, so they kind of have to be there. But once you get everything done, you should be all set. So here's Steel Shift in robot mode, and I absolutely love how much of a beast he is in robot mode. I love his super sort of like strongman proportions with the tiny legs, the massive arms and upper body. I just really enjoy this bot mode, and you know, he can still spin the propeller. I love the gold chain also added. It gives him a lot of personality. It really fits with his sort of thug-like personality, and I absolutely enjoy it. I guess we can go over, the head sculpt. I think he looks pretty good. I like how he has the red eyes to kind of insinuate that he was previously a Decepticon, instead of just changing his eyes to blue. I originally wanted them to be blue, but because it just didn't contrast very well with the already very blue color scheme, I opted for red, and I think it looks pretty neat. I also love the array of wheels in the back section of the robot mode. It really gives him a very unique look, so I very much love that. And he has, I guess, some kibble, but it's not like super noticeable. Like, it kind of seems more with the design than anything else. And honestly, where else would I be able to hide this giant canopy? Like, there'd be nowhere else to hide it without it making it look awkward. But yeah, that's pretty much the robot mode. I absolutely love this robot mode. Like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite designs for a character. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get down to size comparisons, and then we'll do articulation. So here he is with a minifigure. You can see he's definitely gained a lot of height compared to his two alt modes. Here he is with Crossroads, and you can just tell how tiny Crossroads is compared to like every other Transformer I've created. But yeah, here he is with his I guess sister in arms, Rev. Next up, we have Studio Series Jazz, just to show how big he is compared to a traditional like modern deluxe. So there you go. And here he is with Revenge of the Fallen Dead End. Let's get down to articulation. So to start off, his head can look left and right. He can't really look up or down due to his very broad chest and also the collar kind of limiting the articulation there. He has his arms can move this way. They can't detach. Well, they can detach, I guess, but his arms can go this way. It can go, it can go forward and back, but I'm just not going to do that so that the arms don't fall off. His elbows just have an array of joints and hinges. He has his little clip hands there. So I kind of imagine these being sort of like blades or shields or something of that nature. But yeah, no waist articulation. His hips are on ball joints. He has a ball jointed knee. His ankles have tilts. If you can move the spoiler out of the way, you can go even further. Yeah, pretty decent articulation for this guy. And here's just a quick pose I made up of Steel Shift trying to, I guess, appeal to Rev. Obviously, I would assume that Rev would immediately reject him. So I just thought this was a little funny thing to add on to the video, but yeah. So that's pretty much the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow my Instagram. If you guys want, you can join my Discord server, LEGO Transformers Club. And that's pretty much all I have to say. So hope you guys are having a good day. I'm out.